This is BBC World News America. Reporting from Washington, I'm Laura Trevelyan. The impeachment trial is underway here in Washington. The US Senate hears the opening arguments as the prosecution makes the case against President Trump.
The president was the key player in the scheme. Everyone was in the loop. He directed the actions of his team. He personally asked a foreign government to investigate his opponent.
Those watching on PBS and around the globe, welcome to World News America. The US Senate heard the opening arguments in the impeachment trial of President Trump today. He's charged with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The president was called the key player in the scheme to pressure Ukraine for investigations that would help him politically. And Democrat Adam Schiff, who's taking the lead for the House, quoted the founding fathers to make his case.
Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States, has acted precisely as Hamilton and his contemporaries feared. President Trump solicited foreign interference in our democratic elections, abusing the power of his office to seek help from abroad to improve his re-election prospects at home.
The president is still calling all of this a hoax. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, he said he'd love to be observing his trial, maybe even in the front row. But otherwise, he'll leave the work to the Senate.
It's a total hoax. It's a disgrace. They talked about their tremendous case, and it's all done, their tremendous case. They had no case. It's all a hoax. It's a con job, like Schiff. He's a corrupt politician. Now, I'll leave that to the Senate. The Senate's going to have to answer that. I have great respect for the Senate as a body and many of the individuals.
Well, for more on what happens next, let's bring in Elizabeth Wydra, president of the Constitutional Accountability Center. So, Elizabeth, Democrats have got 3 days and not 2 to present their case. Is that going to make a meaningful difference?
I think it will certainly make a difference in the sense that they can pace their arguments better. You know, they're not forced into 24 hours of marathon arguments, although we certainly have seen very long days, especially yesterday when they were debating the rules under which the trial would proceed. And, with respect to, great respect to my colleague, Ron, I think he might have been watching a different opening argument, because I heard Adam Schiff lay out in great detail not just President Trump's own actions in seeking a personal political benefit by withholding aid to Ukraine in order for them to investigate or announce an investigation into the Bidens, but also his entire kind of machinations from those in his inner circle, or the, three amigos, which is, just a bizarre thing to keep hearing on the Senate floor. But the idea that not only did Trump say that he wanted that favor, that personal political favor in the phone call, but that he had a whole bunch of people in his administration working to try to make that happen, whether it's his own personal attorney or his ambassador. And, that's really what we heard laid out in painstaking detail today from Adam Schiff, this very core of abuse of power that the House has impeached on. So, I think that the senators probably were sitting there listening and feeling rather uncomfortable. I would just imagine those Republican senators seeing the president's words played back about, I wish China would do an investigation. So we'll see how things go later today and into tomorrow, but it was powerful today, certainly.
We did hear the Senate chaplain this morning pray for civility. The Supreme Court Chief Justice had to tell people to behave in the middle of the night. Is there a danger that impeachment just seems like a political circus?
I think that is absolutely a danger, and I think that the Chief Justice is at least trying in that respect to put some decorum on all of this. But, I think as someone who watches these proceedings, even when they're less high profile than impeachment, certainly the rhetoric that we've seen today has been as solemn and serious as befits an impeachment proceeding. I absolutely hope that we have a trial that looks like a trial in its solemnity, as well as the evidence and witnesses that are presented. That remains to be seen. But certainly there has been an admonishment for everyone to remain civil. And certainly we saw that today, at least in the Senate chamber. You know, it'll be interesting when we have the rebuttal arguments from Trump's lawyers, because as we know, Trump likes his lawyers to be brash, to be aggressive. And one of them actually said today to reporters that they plan to aggressively challenge the House manager's impeachment case that they put on. So I think that might be, you know, a real challenge for the Chief Justice to try to keep order in that case. But the Chief Justice also has to make sure that this looks like a trial in other respects as well. But we'll see whether he has the power to do that or the Senate majority has the say-so on how the trial proceeds.
Elizabeth Wydra, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you.